Hello everybody and welcome to Joe's Barbecue House. Today we're going to do some spatchcock turkey, we're going to do a brisket, some pork belly candy bites, 6 slabs of ribs, and some homemade Italian sausage that I made. Let's go ahead and get this turkey spatchcocked and get this show on the road. Alright, well while I show you guys how I spatchcock a turkey, I'd like to fill you in on what cookers I'm going to be using. I'm going to be using the red mobile smoker, and that will have the 6 slabs of ribs and the pork belly candy bites. And I also am going to be using my Weber Smoky Mountain, the 22-inch version, and that one will have the turkey, the brisket, and the sausage. I could have fit all this meat on that red mobile smoker, but decided to use a WSM because I need higher temps for the brisket and the turkey. Let's go ahead and start this injection off with this Tony's Chachere's, I believe that's how you say it, roasted garlic and herb injection. As you can see, I am dipping the needle into the bottle because I'm going to use the entire bottle on this bird. Just keep in mind, if you are only going to use half the bottle, to pour the content into a plastic bowl or whatever you have, measuring cup, and dip your needle in that because you don't want to contaminate the marinade that's in that bottle. I would also like to add that all the meat that I'm prepping today will sit in the refrigerator until tomorrow morning. The next cut of meat we're going to be doing is this Costco's Prime beef brisket. It weighs in at about 17.5 pounds, and this one's going to be going on the Weber Smoky Mountain, hot and fast, at around 300-350 degrees. Here I'd like to show you how I'm going to trim this brisket. All you really want to do is just get all the hard fat off. This is the fat that you don't want because it won't render down. So let's go ahead and get it trimmed up. If you also look down there, if you can see some of that marbling, it's pretty nice. I have a feeling this brisket is going to turn out really good. Now here I'm going to show you how I trim some of that silver skin off. I mean, you could spend a lot of time dressing up this brisket, but I'm not going to go too crazy, so just sit back and watch how I do this. Alright, let's go ahead and flip this over, and you can see that some pretty good chunks of fat there, some of that hard fat there again. And trim some of this top layer off. You want to leave about 1/8 inch to 1/4 inch of fat on the top. And there on that side, you'll see that there's some age spots there. I'm just cutting off and just making it look nice. Normally when I do briskets low and slow, I'll trim pretty much all the fat off. That way a lot of my rub will penetrate the meat a lot better. But because I'm doing hot and fast, I like to leave some of the fat on. If I had to guess, there's about 2.5 pounds of wasted fat there. I'm just going to throw it out. I am not going to use it for anything else. Alright, let's go ahead and inject this brisket. Here I'm going to use this Swanson's beef broth. You can use whatever beef broth you like or whatever injections you use. I just think it gives it really good flavor. So I went ahead and poured some in a measuring cup because I don't want to contaminate the broth that's inside the original packaging. And if I haven't mentioned, I'm going to use approximately 2 to 2.5 cups of this injection. So let's get this going. After I'm done injecting it with the beef broth, I'm going to go ahead and put it in the refrigerator. And tomorrow, I'm going to go ahead and season it before I put it on the smoker. Okay, here I got a 10-pound pork belly that I got from Costco's, and we are going to prep this for some pork belly candy bites. Alright, here I'm going to show you how I prep for pork belly candy bites. Take and cut inch to inch and a half squares. I'll show you how I do it. It's very easy to do. You want to set your cut of meat in the freezer for approximately 30 minutes to an hour, and that'll stiffen it up. It won't freeze it solid, it'll just stiffen it up. And for those of you that don't know, this is where your bacon comes from. Once you get all your cubes made up, go ahead and transfer them into a full-size foil pan. Today's rubs that I'm going to be using on this pork belly will be the Sweeeheat's all-purpose rub and the Sweeeheat Southern Barbecue blend. I love using these two together. They make for great flavor, or you can just use them by themselves. These rubs and sauces that I mentioned throughout this video will be available, or I should say are available, on my website at www.joesbarbecuehouse.com. So it's the next morning, and I'm here at my mother-in-law's, getting ready to set up these smokers to start cooking all this meat. Here I got my Weber Smoky Mountain that I'm going to put the brisket on. I need to get this thing lit and fired up. I'm also going to get the red mobile cooker fired up as well. I would also like to mention that I'm using red oak for the smoke and the red mobile cooker, and not going to use any wood chunks in the Weber Smoky Mountain. Okay, let's go ahead and prep these ribs. I got these from Costco. They weigh in at about 10 pounds a piece. You get 3 slabs per package. The nice thing about buying them from Costco is that the membrane is already peeled off for you. Alright, let's go ahead and get these rinsed off. Be sure to clean your kitchen sink before you do this. Now what you want to do is grab you some paper towels, and let's go ahead and pat these dry. And for the rubs, again, I'm going to use the Sweeeheat all-purpose rub on the back side of these ribs, and I'm going to flip them over and use the Sweeeheat's Southern Barbecue blend. I'm going to use the same rubs for this brisket. Just going to apply it on there and let it sit approximately 10 to 15 minutes before I flip it over and do the other side. So our 15 minutes is up, and as you can see, those rubs sweated in really nice. So here I got my homemade salt, pepper, garlic, the SPG. Gonna go ahead and apply that right now, both sides. The SPG that I make is very simple to do. All it is equal parts of kosher salt, coarse black ground pepper, and granulated garlic. Alright, let's go ahead and get this brisket put on the Weber Smoky Mountain. Now remember, we're doing hot and fast, and we're going to keep the temperatures between 300 and 325. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and put the ribs on, and I'm going to keep the temperatures on this thing at around 250 degrees. Just be sure when you're wrapping ribs that you use heavy duty aluminum foil. And you want 2 sheets per slab. And if I haven't mentioned, that's dark brown sugar, which I think turns out great. Well, these ribs are very, very tender. So I put them back on just so they could stiffen up a little bit. And as you can see, the candy bites are still going. And as you can see here, I have about 4 cups of that au jus. Okay, so we're about 5 hours in. Let's go ahead and get this thing temped out. And so far we're averaging temps between 180 to 195 degrees in certain spots. And it's not quite probe tender yet. I think I'm going to let it go for approximately another 30 minutes and come back and check and go from there. Alright, let's go ahead and check on these ribs. I am very sure they're done. They're looking really good. Nice color and all. Oh yeah. So here all I want to add is a little bit of the Sweeetheat Spicy Homey Honey on top of all these ribs. We'll get them brushed down and we shall return. This is my homemade mild Italian sausage. Gonna smoke these up for a little bit and get them inside so people can enjoy. The candy bites are done and they look absolutely amazing. Well, this is all I have for you guys. So if you liked what you saw, please like, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell notification button. And oh yeah, look at that brisket. Pretty nice smoke ring for not having any wood chunks in there. Oh, and the turkey turned out fantastic. Had great color, very moist, very tender. Everybody loved all the food. Thank you and have a great day.